There was a season where I honestly thought, do I need to lower my standards? Because waiting for the right person felt very exhausting.
It does feel. It's low-key hard to wait for the right person.
Especially when your standards are so high. And in the Christian community,
It feel like you rushed and stuff.
well, you set some pretty high standards.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Jesus and Stuff podcast. We are Ross and Ava.
That's who we are.
We're just a Christian couple that's been together for a long time now. We've been together for about 5 years. We're not married yet, as a lot of people think that we might be on social media trying to give marriage advice. We're not trying to give marriage advice. We're not. We're really not trying to give any advice.
We're not qualified for that yet.
We are just trying to share
our experiences.
Our experiences.
Help people relate to our experiences, but also know that they don't have to sit in their, I don't want to call it suffering, but they don't have to sit in their.
Fam. You don't gotta be like it. Don't gotta.
It just don't gotta be like that all the time.
And
Jesus is the way out.
Here's what we are. We're just some real folk. We're just trying to make you feel seen.
Real folk.
Some real folks.
Okay.
Felt people. So anyway, yeah. Today we're gonna talk about equally yoked. Stop. I said equally yoked. Oh, that's a spiritual word. Let me click off this video. Stop. Listen. It's not that. It is deep. It actually is deep, but we just hope to present it in a way that's like not that. Like equally yoked seems like this big spiritual thing, and I think that it is, but it's also like it's not that complex, I don't think, to get.
But maybe just to understand it in a way to where it's applicable to the relationships that you're looking for, the relationships that you're in, and it's not just some like word that you see or word that you hear, Christian people use, but it's like something that you can actually apply to your life, something that you can actually, observe the relationships that you are in currently, whether that be friendships or romantic relationships, and, come to understand, am I in an equally yoked relationship?
Yoked.
Yoked.
Y-O-K-E-D.
It's not.
We've talked about
yolk.
this before. We've talked about how it's not an egg.
It's
Doesn't mean egg. I always pictured 2 eggs in a frying pan that were the same size, but that's not what it is.
But we just want to paint a better picture for what that looks like.
I think it, for so many people, probably for almost everybody, it's like a canon event to try to find your person and to go through this like desperation season, especially in like middle school.
Yeah.
Even like getting through high school, our experience was a little different. We met for me, my senior year, my going into my senior year. But doing the right thing often in those times feels draining and exhausting because, like you said, it's like I can't find anybody. Are my standards too high? Should I settle and just do it the way that the world would do it because maybe I am setting impossible goals for myself?
Or, but there's so many factors that go into the fact of like why you might not have found your person yet. And it is not, I think the first thing to assume should not be, are my standards too high?
Yeah.
Because like you've set your standards high for a reason, don't.
That does mean when you start to set a standard higher, it's like, I'm going to use football here. It's like in Pee Wee, anybody can play football. But then you go to middle school and the standard is a little bit higher. Yeah. Some kids get weeded out. Yeah. And you go to high school, the standard gets higher. Kids get weeded out. College, same thing. NFL, same thing. When you are a Christian and you're setting your standard for a relationship to that high standard, there are so many less qualified individuals in that standard bracket. And so, of course, naturally, you might have to wait a little longer.
Yeah.
Naturally, you might have to be a little bit more patient to say, yeah, there are 5,000 dudes on this college campus, but maybe only 100 of them are worth even considering due to my high standards because I want a relationship that is godly.
And that is going to push me to be more godly myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a tension for a lot of people is the fact that, like you see what everybody's doing. In middle school, you see, everybody has a boyfriend, I need a boyfriend. So you force it. In high school, it's the same way. In college, honestly, it's the same way.
Especially in high school and college, for sure.
Yeah. And then, like now for us, we see everybody getting engaged. We see everybody getting married. It's like this tension that's a pressure to
conform.
Conform.
Be on the right timeline, to
Yeah.
be on the right track.
To measure up as society would say that you need to. Like, it was just Thanksgiving. I can only imagine the amount of people that went to their aunt's house and their aunts are like, do you have a boyfriend yet? And like, that's, if you don't, it's like, oh. But that shouldn't be how it is, I don't
Right.
think. I think that, like, let's just measure you by who you are.
Yeah. And the fact that there's value in every season.
Yeah.
And if you are in a season of singleness, you hate that. But if you are in a season where you do not have a significant other, then like there's value in that too. And God's doing something good in that season as well. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there is a lot of, comparison. And we talked about this in our last podcast, but there is a lot of comparison to other people's timelines. And like, again, especially in high school and college, when you see everyone else around you in relationships, you know what? Those relationships might be good, but they might be bad.
That's very true.
But because, your standard is so high, I think that's more admirable. Not admirable. That is more, what's the word I'm looking for? That is more respectable than just having a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or being in a relationship because you can be.
Yeah, I think the feeling of like, oh, I'm like getting left behind. All my friends are doing this. Like, even if you can observe that, oh, all my friends are in relationships, but they're not even good relationships. They're just doing the normal thing. You can still feel like left behind. And again, that pressure to just get a boyfriend or get a girlfriend.
Right. And that comes in the form of, like in middle school and high school, to just get a boyfriend, get a girlfriend at any means possible. Like for us, that was Snapchat quick ads. Like, talk to me and Ross about Snapchat quick ads, because we were Snapchat quick adders.
Listen, it was during COVID. So I'll try to like justify it a little bit, but it was like.
There's no justification in that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was just such a desperation that I was in the quick ad so much, just trying to see if anybody would like reciprocate any effort. And it was like, I wasn't comparing people against my standards. I was just seeing if they would talk to me, and if they did, then I was going to give them a chance. That was not that's not a good way to go about it.
Too.
Even if that's what it seems like in your life right now, if it seems like no guy or no girl wants to talk to you, and if you could just get one to talk to you, then that would be the one. That's probably not necessarily true, because you probably necessarily do need to compare them against your standards.
Yeah.
And that being said, if you're a Christian, like, you got to think about what those standards are. And I think the Bible is very clear on kind of what those standards need to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Quick ad Snapchat phase is not one I'm proud of, but it's definitely one that existed. because of feeling left behind, and because of feeling like I needed to just be where
Were you the last one, like, in your friend group that had a boyfriend?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
I'm going to help you with this here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't really
Were
think
you?
I don't. To be honest.
You had a lot of girlfriends before me.
No. I was going to say, to be honest, my senior year, I didn't really have any friends.
Oh.
Senior year of high school. Not for real. So it wasn't like I was playing that game, I don't guess. The friends I did have didn't have anybody either, I don't think, at that point. But I think just in general, not being in a relationship is looked down upon.
Yeah.
Like, especially as you get older, it's like that's the expectation from family and friends and culture in general.
It's also the expectation that like relationships just make you happy.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a relationship, like your life's going to be better.
It's necessarily, but that is, again, that's what society has done. I think it's like we see, oh, they're in a relationship, it must be good.
Yeah.
But that's not, like, hopefully that's true.
Yeah.
But sometimes it is way better to not be in a relationship.
Yeah.
like some of the people in the quick ads, it was way better for me to not be in a relationship with those people than to have been in a relationship with those people. I just think if everybody would just chill out and stop pushing their timelines, then there would be a lot less anxiety in like trying to find a relationship and doing it ASAP, and more room to breathe and more room to feel not pressured into just getting into a relationship, but more patient and waiting for the right person that God has planned for you.
Yeah.
That holds up to the standard, that keeps the standard.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. If it wasn't for that social media algorithm and everyone telling you whatever, your life's got to look this way, this way, this way, then I don't think it would be the same.
Yeah. I think settling right now is just a big, you don't settle. Like,
especially, okay,
that's so corny.
Okay, wait,
cliche
okay.
to say,
so,
don't.
listen. It's not just like settling in your standards. I think what's happening, especially in the Christian community, and I've seen it in my peers, that there's a settling of spiritual standards. And just because you go on a date with somebody and they tell you that they're a Christian, does not mean that they are going to help lead you to Christ.
Yeah. Well, that's just America in general.
Well, it is.
Whatever the stat is, how many people claim Christianity.
But in dating, like I see friends and I see peers going out on dates with people, and, you know, they get all excited because they say, oh, he said he was a Christian, or she said she was a Christian. And like, okay, that's fantastic and awesome. But like, and then I like go and learn about this person, or they tell me more about this person. And it's like, oh, well, they don't really live their life like they live for Christ.
Believing that there is a God is what a lot of people claim as Christianity. I believe that there's a God. What Christianity really is, and what you should measure, especially in somebody that you are looking to enter a relationship with, is, yes, they believe that there's a God, and they live their lives as a reflection of, I'm going to do everything I can to, follow him as the Bible teaches, and also tell others about him. So there's an outward appearance, or an outward showing of that. There is a communicative I think that would be like what you, like when we first started dating, you knew I was a Christian. I knew you were a Christian. What did that mean to us? Well, we knew that we were doing Bible studies together all the time. We knew that I knew that you lived it. I know that you know that I lived it. It's not just he said he was a Christian. He goes to church on Sundays.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Like coming from a woman's perspective, I'm just like laying down the law here. If the standards that you've set, if you present those standards to the person that you want to be in a relationship with, and they can meet those standards, how do I put this? Coming from a woman, you want a man of God that is going to lead you closer to Christ. You don't want somebody that's going to stay stagnant with you, or even so much that, you know, boundaries you've set or standards you've set don't necessarily completely line up with his. And that, I see a lot of women, when that happens, say, it's okay, like, I'm going to make him come to church. I'm going to make him come to church, and then as he starts coming to church more with me and my family, like, we'll get on the same page, we'll be equally yoked, like, you know, we can start pushing each other at that point. And, like, I get that. Like, I understand that argument, especially when you love somebody, like, trust, like, I get it. But if you are entering into a relationship with somebody and you are claiming to have high standards for your Christian life, and you want to be pushed in your Christian faith, and you want a godly man who is going to lead you in that relationship towards Christ, he's got it. Like, he can't just meet the standard. It has to be like a pursuing of the standard.
A constant.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but like...
Well, that's what the equally yoked is. That's
Yeah.
what, if you don't know, a yoke is literally a plank or something of the sort that goes across two oxen's necks that
Wish we had a demonstration
as
to
one
put around our necks.
moves forward, the other goes that direction. So it's just like both of them are carrying the weight.
Yes.
If they walk together, they are they
can move together as
they're
one
boarded
because
together.
they're both.
they got the same goal, but if one stops, then the other one's carrying the whole load. And that's not
Yeah.
healthy. That's painful. That's just not how it's designed. If one goes the wrong way, then they
Well,
both
then
go
the other
wrong
one's
way.
going to follow it.
So that's what we're saying, is that trying to missionary date is not the best. It's not the best way to enter into a relationship.
Not to say that it doesn't work sometimes.
I think that if you are going to enter into a relationship, if you're on the prowl
On the prowl.
and you're looking for a relationship, I would highly advise against going for somebody that you might have caught a feeling for, and they might even say they're a Christian, but you don't see those fruits in their life. You see the fruits of the world. You see certain tendencies
you can
and
talk
habits.
the talk, but if you can't walk the walk.
I just know I've seen friends that have played that card, that have said, he's a Christian, she's a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, yes, I see that person at church on Sundays, and who am I to judge? Sure. But I
Sure.
also know that they go to the bar every Friday night and get plastered.
And is that a good example for you in your relationship? Because, like,
Do I know conversations I've had with my friends that say, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to do these things anymore. I want to get closer to the Lord. Okay, well, if you enter into a relationship with somebody who is doing those things and is okay to do those things, and they're going to pull you into those things, and they're not going, it's not as easy to just say, hey, you leave all those worldly habits, because worldly habits are habits. They're easier to get stuck in. So if you go into that knowing what their habits are, and you willingly give into that, then it's just like throwing up a white flag. It's like saying, yeah, sure, I think that I can go into the bar and I can be like, tonight I'm not going to drink with my boyfriend or my girlfriend, but I'll try to set the example and lead them closer to Jesus. Well, that's not compromise. That's just submission to the world.
Yeah. And you have to think, too, like, it's kind of like the saying, like, you are what you eat. Like, you are the people that you hang around. And, like, you know that. The older that you get, like,
It's so corny, but it is so true.
No, the people that you are around are the people that you're going to start, like, you know, building. I mean, just the girls that I hang around in my sorority. Like, before I joined my sorority, I didn't say weird things like, I don't know. Like, I didn't talk in, like, weird voices. I didn't, like, talk in weird voices or
even
do
you
weird
and me,
things.
like, you didn't quote The Office as much before you
Right,
started.
Right. You just pick up on the things that person does. Like, Clara, for example, is my big. And, like, love you, Clara, if you're watching this. But, like, she just does, like, weird mannerisms that, like, I've picked up on. And, like, now I do them all the time.
Yeah.
And, like, I just would have never done that unless I started spending, you know, days and days and days with her a week.
Yeah.
So, you know, what's to say that, like, you're not going to start picking up on the habits that, you know, your significant other is having, because they're with you probably every single day, I would assume.
Yeah. And you got to think, I don't think anybody enters in a, hopefully nobody enters into a relationship without it being a long-term goal. Mm-hmm. I think what happens with a lot of people is they start off strong in this pursuit. Mm-hmm. They're like, I really love this person. Maybe I'm really attracted to this person. Maybe we have some kind of trauma that we bonded over, and I really just like this person and I want to be with them. Mm. I love Jesus. Maybe they don't care as much as I do right now, but I can motivate and I can bring to church and I can try to read the Bible with. And at first that starts well. Mm. But if both people don't have a strong foundation, then when it gets rocky, one of them's going to fall. Mm. And then the other one can't really keep moving forward because this other one's fallen. Mm-hmm. So what happens is it starts small. It's skipping church on a Sunday, or skipping church for months because somebody doesn't want to do
Wanna do
that
that.
or whatever. It's compromising boundaries. It's, okay, now we've been together for 5 months. You think we can do the deed now?
Right.
From the one person that's not as strong.
Right.
And that pressure, you think you can withstand that. But I've seen it more times than not where it's harder to withstand it when you have somebody that is not only tempted with you, because that's one thing. We have been tempted together. But when you're tempted together, are you standing on Jesus or are you standing on the foundation that you've had in the world? Because if that's the case, then this partner that you got that keeps nagging you, hey, let's do it, let's do it. Finally, you're going to cave.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, you know, Ross and I have been together for over 5 years, and I can 100%, like 1,000,000% say that if we were not on the same page about, you know, what we wanted our boundaries to be, why we were doing it, I think that's a big reason. Is like, why were we even abstaining from sex until marriage?
Yeah.
Because we both love the Lord, and
Yeah.
because we both have a strong, firm foundation on Him, and we love Him more than we love each other.
But if I would have gotten into a relationship with one of those girls from the quick ads, like we talked about earlier,
Right.
and I'm being serious, like I'm not trying to be funny. If I had a girlfriend earlier on that did not have that shared motivation to honor the Lord by not having sex until marriage, I would have had sex by now.
Yes,
I know I
like
would have.
100%. If you were not in that with me, like there were
I
times
could have been so strong, but to a point.
Yeah. There were times when I was low and then you helped pick me up. And there were times when you were low and I helped pick
And
you
that's
up.
the yoke.
And like that's just like that's the beauty of what the yoke provides. Like you have the opportunity to choose somebody that is going to take hard times, like temptation, things that just happen in
Things
life.
that you go through, yeah.
Things that happen in life, and like they're going to be able to guide you, but not just guide you and pick you up in a loving and caring way, but they're going to be able to pick you and guide you, pick you up and guide you in a godly way that helps you not just see like, oh, it's going to be okay, or like we can get through this, or like, you know, I love you so much, like I love you so much, but to point you back to God and say He loves you so much, and like, this is why you're doing this. This is why, you know, you feel tempted, and this is why we're going to push through it. Or this is why you're feeling, you know, the grief that you feel from loss in your family, and like, this is how we're going to get through it. And like, they're the person to stand by you through all of it. Like, that yoke is not just a yoke. Like, that yoke is God. That's what's keeping you together. And unless you both are standing on that firm foundation, then like, that relationship is just going to be rocky.
I just know that I have seen friends have a radical encounter with Jesus. Be around at church more. Have a clear desire to learn more about Him. Have a clear passion. And then they go and enter into a relationship that I question. And I say, is that?
Going to help you.
And the flame dwindles very quickly.
Yeah.
And I know how hard it is to watch a friend go through that, because it's like you don't want to admit it to yourself. You want to, the relationship's fine. I'll just pretend it's fine. But then to know and to hear the ways that they have compromised, that's not the right word. Compromised, they have put themselves in jeopardy to satisfy the other, that in a way that doesn't satisfy Jesus. It's just not worth doing that. And then there's the argument, and I get this one a little bit more, that radical encounter with Jesus comes when I'm already in a relationship. I know people that have been together for years and years and years, and they were not believers, neither one of them, but then one of them has an encounter and the other one doesn't. Then what? And I'm just going to be honest, I don't feel as equipped to talk about that.
I don't know. I don't feel competent enough to talk about that.
Because I know of specific people that I am friends with that are in that exact situation, and it's hard because, you love that person and you have for a long time, even when you weren't believers. Now you are. Do I just end it? I don't know. That's not my question to answer. I haven't had to go through that. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that either.
So anyway, you were never meant to drift. You were meant to stay anchored. And it's really hard to stay anchored when you're partner or whoever you're in a relationship with is trying to go ahead and pull the anchor up and get sailing.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say if you're just being impatient and you're thinking about entering into a relationship with somebody that you know probably isn't spiritually there with you, and this is where Christians, you are allowed to judge. I think it's a stereotype in Christianity that Christians can't judge, but that's not true. We have the ability to righteously judge, and if discern.
Yeah.
If I am entering into a relationship with if I weren't with Ava right now and I was talking to her back and forth, I would be judging everything that she said if I was trying to potentially date her.
What would you think right now?
I would think that I would probably marry you.
Aw.
Anyway, but that's where you have every single right to judge. Please judge somebody that you're trying to enter a relationship with.
Yeah, but not in a way that's like
not condemning them.
It's just like
not in a like
discerning and understanding how do they live their life.
Judge their character.
Yeah.
Or is this person gonna love me enough and love Jesus more than me enough to sustain a Jesus-filled relationship?
Yeah.
And if not, then stop.
Right. Move on.
I know
Move
that
to the
I
next.
tried too many times, and I wish that I wouldn't have.
It just ain't the vibe.
It ain't the vibe.
And sometimes, okay,
Catch a
and
vibe.
sometimes I think we're kind of circling back, but sometimes I think we're circling back a little bit, back to the beginning when we were talking about like having some patience in that. Like, it's probably going to be the case. I don't know, like, I was going to say 9 times out of 10, but that's like a really large statistic, and I don't have
That's
statistics.
90% if you weren't aware. Quick math.
But like, more than likely you're going to have to like go through a couple contenders to kind of understand, like, not understand, but to find somebody who really does meet those standards. And just don't get discouraged when that happens, because, you know, so again, like, so many corny, cheesy things in this podcast, but like, God has somebody for you. God has a plan for, you know, who you're going to be with, who he sees fit for you to be with in your life. Like, don't let the impatience outweigh the sovereignty of God and what goodness he has for you.
Yeah. So I would say that there's 2 ends of the spectrum. There is settling for somebody who is not a believer just because you're impatient. Mm-hmm. There's also settling for somebody who is a believer just because you're impatient.
Settling for somebody
Now, listen,
who is a believer just because you're
just
impatient.
because you
Boy, you better explain.
Just because you finally find somebody that loves the Lord a lot and that truly is a Christian doesn't mean that they're for you.
Come on, Ross.
Right?
Come on, Ross.
You might have to go through several people to find the person
Ross.
that matches your energy, the person
Talk.
that matches your personality.
That's
like,
good.
Just because you have been looking for a good Christian boy or girl for a long time and you finally find one who is a good Christian boy or girl, but you don't really vibe with them, that doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship with them.
No, just because they love Jesus doesn't mean they're your husband.
Mm.
I mean, like...
That's great. Like, yeah.
But
that is the point of dating.
But that doesn't mean that because the guy who loves Jesus might not be your husband doesn't mean that the guy who doesn't love Jesus has to be.
Yeah. So the goal in dating, what is the goal in dating?
I know that the goal in relationships and in marriage is to lead each other closer to Christ and to get each other to heaven.
Yes, in that sense. But like, what is the goal of entering into a dating relationship?
Oh, to get married.
Yeah. So...
To find somebody to marry.
But that doesn't mean that you have to commit to that off the bat with someone. Like,
no.
I mean, it took us about 3 months to start talking about marriage. But that's because I think we were both
3 months.
We were both a little bit like, we didn't want to say that off the bat, but we thought that could have been the case.
Am I allowed to put my feet here?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I would just say that just because somebody checks the boxes of being a strong believer.
A really, really good point, because I think this was something for me too. Not only was Snapchat quick ads like a thing, but when I finally... Come on.
No, I know what you're about to say.
What?
You're about to say that you were
No,
trying to...
stop. I'll tell it.
TikTok Christian boys.
I'll tell it. I'll tell it.
I was one of them. But not one of them.
I mean, not in this phase. That was like after I like chilled out.
Okay.
Okay, let me just tell you my story because apparently you don't know. So, not just the Snapchat quick ads were a problem, but when I came to Christ, this was in 2020 again, COVID, like we all know Christian TikTok was like a big thing. Everyone was making David Ladding, like everyone was making Christian
Speaking of David Ladding, deep cut, his content now is fire.
Yeah, it is. David Ladding, if you're watching, you're
I don't
fire.
know why you would be watching this,
But me being the 15-year-old girl who wanted a relationship was, just because, I had Christ doesn't mean that desire changed necessarily. Like, I still wanted a boyfriend really bad because all my friends had boyfriends.
Here's wind.
And it was 2020 and I was alone. But that was kind of scary.
You need a second to recalibrate.
Yeah. Maybe they were trying to get in.
I don't think so. I think it was wind.
Anyways,
Maybe it wasn't.
I took it upon myself. And I would scroll through TikTok, and the second I saw a cute Christian boy that posted a cute Christian TikTok talking about some Bible verse or something,
brother.
I would go on Instagram, I would find their Instagram, and I would DM them. And do you know what I would say?
What?
I would use Christian pickup lines. Guys, I was 15. I was a dork. I was so weird. I was such a weirdo. I would say, do you want to know what my main pickup line was? Are you ready?
I really don't think I want to know this. I think you actually told me this before.
Is it hot in here, or is that the Holy Spirit burning inside of you?
I would have blocked immediately. We would not be sitting here if you did that to me.
I actually think that nobody responded to me. But that just goes to show how deep the desire runs, not just in your life without Christ, but also in it. Because in the Christian community, you see cute Christian couples that are together and you're like, dang, that looks really nice. I'd like to be in that. But again, I think there's beauty in every season. I think there's beauty in the place that God's put you. And that was something that we talked about in the podcast last week, was like finding contentment in the season you're in and not looking at everybody else's season and wishing you had theirs, because that would just not make sense, because God has specified his plan for every single person. And if you put my plan on Ross's life and Ross's plan on my life, like whatever, like it just wouldn't work out. So
Yeah.
So anyways, that was my confession of what I did when I was 15.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And sometimes I would say that it even goes like this, and this is how it was for me. It wasn't until I gave up the pursuit of a female.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
So it wasn't until I gave up looking for a relationship with a girl and finally realized I'm going to prioritize looking for this relationship with Jesus again. And I know that sounds corny, and that sounds like I just had to prioritize him and then he made it all come together. But honestly, it wasn't until I got off the Snapchat quick ads. It wasn't until I stopped trying to make every conversation with a girl into a conversation with my future wife that God actually started to move the pieces in putting me with you.
And then he said, you know what, Ava? You're going to FaceTime this man every night. Even though he doesn't like you, you're going to FaceTime him.
I did not.
You did not.
And then in the meantime there, I actually went on a few dates, and I realized that your personality was the one for me.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Good.
Yeah. So.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, so basically that leaves us to the moral of the story being, the moral of the story of this story.
I think there are several morals. Morals. There are several morals.
Tell me about them, Ross. Moral 1.
Moral 1 is don't settle out of desperation. I know that trust me, I know that it can be super draining to feel like everybody else is getting in a relationship and you're just sitting behind not finding one because your standards are high. And I would definitely encourage you to not lower your standards just so that you can check off the societal box of, hey, in high school I had a boyfriend. Because that's not the point. The point is to find who you want to marry. And if you enter into something knowing I probably wouldn't marry this person, then it's probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's moral 1. I'd say moral 2 is that there's a difference between claiming Christianity and being a Christian. So if you got a prospect on the market and they claim to be a Christian, but you're not seeing those fruits really, just that is where, again, as a Christian, you're allowed to judge character a little bit. You're allowed to discern a little bit. You're allowed to judge, is this person just claiming Christianity, or are they really
Living
going to
it,
follow
pursuing
Jesus and pursue him over me? And then
Yeah.
I would also say maybe you find somebody that is just like that. Maybe you find somebody that is a real hardcore believer and they are all out for Jesus and they are sinless and they're second in line and they've never done anything wrong, just like Jesus. That's never going to happen. Actually, let me rephrase. You just find somebody that is a really strong Christian, but they're just not for you. That's another truth.
That's okay.
That's
Not
okay.
every Christian is going to be your husband. Thank you.
And then I'd say last moral is it's tiring to constantly pursue and feel like it's up to you and you only to find a relationship. Or it's up to you and your friends who are trying to set you up with a homeboy in the bar. That also ain't going to work. So...
Or in the church.
Actually, I won't say that won't work because there are people that have met their husbands in the bar and they've actually both been Christians and they've both been there just by happenstance. But that's very random scenarios.
Okay, that's not what we're trying to say.
But I'm saying that you got to give, again, as corny as it sounds, you got to give that desire over to God and realize, I'm going to pursue you first, Lord. And then he starts to move puzzle pieces like you would not expect to see.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. The power that obedience has is crazy. And you know what? We're probably going to make another podcast on that, on the power of obedience.
Yeah.
But that's like basically what I wanted to say to you guys today, okay?
Okay.
Like that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, just let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We do hope that this is beneficial. We hope that we are able to communicate in a way that makes you feel seen and heard and motivated, honestly.
Yeah.
To in this case, to look for better and to know that, again, as corny as it sounds, like you do deserve somebody who's gonna carry that yoke with you.
Yeah.
Equally. And so hopefully this didn't feel discouraging in any way. I think that if you're feeling discouraged, just in life in general with looking for a relationship or with the relationship that you're in right now, we are on your phone screen right now. So there's only so much that we can do. This is when you can leave us a comment and we can reply, but this is when you go to the Lord. And if you're really struggling, go to him. He will answer your prayers. He will tell you what's up. What's
up? He will tell you what's up.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, if this video was helpful for you, hit that subscribe button. And if this video was helpful for you, then share it with a friend. Share it with a friend who you know might need to hear this right now. We really do appreciate you, and we're excited to keep going with this into the next year, and we're having fun. So
yeah, this is a blast.
If nothing else, we're having fun.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we love you so much.
Let's pray.
Subscribe to the YouTube. Okay.
I'll pray.
Okay.
Dear Lord, thank you for relationships. Thank you for the process that it takes to find the person. I ask that anybody watching or listening to this right now that feels incredibly discouraged because they can't seem to find that person, I just ask that you would give them peace, that you would remind them whose child they are, and you would remind them what a beautiful relationship with you they have, and you would remind them that your plan is perfect and that the time is coming. We just ask for discernment and for true conviction and wisdom and discernment, that you would just help us and whoever is watching think through the decisions that they're making with a clear lens, with one that doesn't just make spontaneous decisions, but that weighs them against the standard that they have set in their lives because they want to follow you more. Lord, we thank you for everything that you've done for us, and we just ask that you would do with this podcast whatever you'd want, and we just ask that you just bless all the people that are trying to share the gospel. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. We love you. We love you.
Tip
but
of
not
the
as
cap.
much as Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
Got your booty.
Get your booty.
Okay, bye. Bye!